How's everybody doing? So this is a reshoot because my camera ran out of storage space literally as I was closing out the video, but nevertheless, I had already known it was possibly gonna happen, so I had already planned on having to reshoot this when I came home. Today I want to talk about something that is really personal and particular to me. But I think that a lot of people that would be attracted to a channel and content like this might also have the same kind of feelings in the same kind of situation. Um, and I want to talk. I've talked about this before in other ways on other channels, but today I want to specifically talk about it in how it affects your ability to succeed, and that is living with an addictive personality, living with a propensity towards addiction. See, here's the thing. A lot of people maybe misconstrue this as sort of a death sentence for ever being able to achieve anything in your life. But that's not the case. What is the case, though, is that if you have such an affliction, you kind of have two options. Unlike most people, you don't have the option of shooting for the moon and landing among the stars. For us, it's kind of shoot for the moon and get there, or crash and burn. There's really nothing in between. You can kind of do it right and succeed better than anybody else, or you can do anything else and you're going to put yourself on a collision course with disaster. Now I'm going to tell you right off the bat that this does mean practicing temperance, and that's something that a lot of people will tell you. If you have this affliction, you cannot drink. Really, you cannot indulge in any sort of substances, even if they're not hard substances. For me, even despite that, I have a major issue when it comes to caffeine and nicotine. I cannot function without those two things. And that's even a hindrance sometimes on things that I attempt to do. So I would say absolute temperance is a must, but that's not what I want to talk about in this video, because that's something that should be common sense and something that you can hear from a lot of other people. What I want to talk about is what exactly about our personalities makes us this way, about our body and our chemistries makes us this way, and how that can be turned to our advantage. I want to teach you how it is that you can use this as a propulsion system to achieve great things rather than a hindrance. Because if you think about it like this, it's like you have a rocket strapped on your back while you're working through life. And that rocket can either be pushing you forward or pushing you dead backward, and nothing in between. You can't turn it off. You can't turn it towards something harmless, except in the sense that you can turn it towards achieving things. Because no matter what it is that you might be addicted to, and throughout your lifetime it may vary if you have an addictive personality, whether it's a partner, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a substance, whether it's an activity. You're essentially getting addicted to the same thing, which is the release of these positive endorphins and chemicals in your brain. Now, I've heard it said, and I tend to believe that the reason that some people have these more addictive personalities is because their brain does not naturally produce these chemicals very much on their own. And as a result of that, that makes these highs from these endorphins that much greater, and it also makes the crash coming off of them that much greater, which is what tends to lead towards the addiction in the addictive personality. So knowing this, how can we turn this to our advantage? How can we make this a weapon to assist us rather than one designed to hinder us? Well, the best way I can explain this to you is to explain a couple of things about my own life and things that I do on a day-to-day basis. First off, my schedule as far as active and constructive activities is about anywhere from 16 to 18 hours a day. Now, that might sound ridiculous to some people, but here's the thing. When you have an addictive personality, you are naturally inclined, even if you don't realize it, to always be looking for a fix in one way or another. So you have to turn that natural drive and motivation towards something positive. You can't be a 40-hour-a-week, go home, sit on your couch type of person, because in the rest of that time, you're going to do more damage to yourself than you do positive things during that 40 hours a week that you're working. So a lot of people wonder, like, how do you juggle 3 and 4 jobs at a time and go to school and do whatever else? Well, it's because I have to. I have to be moving forward. I have to be achieving goals because that is my fix. And here's the thing, here's the problem. That is a very simplistic way of explaining it. Oh, you just replace bad fixes with good fixes. The problem is that you're much more inclined to become addicted to good fixes because they have a much quicker path to that release of positive, happy chemicals. A hit off a joint or a swig of alcohol will instantaneously give you that release. As to where working towards goals sometimes takes a while. It sometimes may take a couple of weeks or a couple of months until you hit a threshold where you can look back and say, okay, I succeeded at something, and get that positive release of chemicals. So there's a couple of different ways to get around this, and you're going to have to use both of them in conjunction with each other to really make this work. First off, willpower. You need to have willpower if you are living with an addictive personality, no matter what. If you plan on not crashing and burning, you need to have willpower. You need to understand that sometimes you're going to have to, especially when you're starting out, put yourself in a situation where you're going to be miserable for a little while, where you can't sleep, where you're anxious and upset all the time because you're working towards a greater fix at the end of that that's going to do more for you in the long run than that quick, easy fix that you can get right now. And the second thing is you need to learn how to create incremental rewards for yourself. This is very much the same psychology that goes into free-to-play, tablet games and things like that. And even the same mentality that goes into the chip system in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. Those sobriety chips are designed to give you a constant path towards achieving things that are going to give you that positive rush of endorphins and of chemicals to help you replace the fix that you needed in the past. Now, in order to do this when it comes to business and networking and ecumenical success, the way that I have found is most effective, and this is something I would recommend everybody do because it also keeps you more organized, it keeps you more goal-oriented and on target. But what you need to do is create a daily goal system for yourself. Now, for me, starting out, a lot of these goals were very little, very simple things just to keep me doing something every day until I found bigger projects to put my mind towards. Sometimes there were things like do 50 push-ups or, go run a mile or something like that. But at the end of all those things, you get the release of checking those boxes. And then as you go on, you can find yourself a good job, assuming you're starting from nowhere, or a better job, or another job if you are starting from already a position of having something. And that will give you more avenues to create more goals for yourself. And you might want to create daily goals for yourself, weekly goals for yourself, monthly goals for yourself, and long-term goals for yourself. And simultaneously be working to achieve all of those things every day, because it will constantly give you that rush of success of achieving these little goals. And when you achieve the bigger ones, it's a bigger rush of success. And it will get you started. It will get you snowballing on this path to where it eventually, at a certain point, which for me only took a month or two, your natural drive to get these fixes will take over and will put you on autopilot, and you will not want to sit around and do nothing. That will no longer be enjoyable to you. As a matter of fact, for me, it causes me almost physical pain if I'm sitting around and whatever I'm doing is not progressing me towards some goal. That's why for me, after a while, one job wasn't enough, and then two jobs weren't enough. And then I needed to go to school as well to try and get, a degree or something like that, to get better jobs and progress even further. And I needed to create YouTube channels and blogs and things like that as outlets to allow me to kind of network and bounce ideas off people and things like that. And eventually those little tiny bite-sized pieces of success snowballed and carried me to a point where now, as long as I don't let myself get distracted, as long as I don't let myself get put off on the wrong path, as long as I don't wake up one day and decide to take that easy fix, because that always is a threat, I'm on autopilot to succeed. I cannot fail. So with that in mind, in the next video, what I want to do is I want to sit down and show you guys my daily and weekly goals calendars and show you what it is kind of that I'm talking about, so that you can get the idea of the framework that you're going to need, and then you can plug in the situations of your own life and what it is that you want to achieve into that, and get yourself moving. So if that's something that you're interested in, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested, go check out my other channel, KTS News and Politics. It's different. It's different kinds of content. And honestly, it's done a bit in character, which is really just me turned up to 15 as opposed to me turned down to like 5 in these videos. And check out my page on Minds. I like to leave little bits of insight and stuff when I don't have time to make longer form video content and stuff here on YouTube. You guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.